Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on Sam's Crafted Castle. I did not actually think I was going to get a video out this week, but I think I am actually going to pull that off. But this is a very coloring heavy video, which means it is the perfect video for a little update chat. And yeah, so I'm just stamping this image. I didn't want to talk about this because this is a big image. This stamp set is very discontinued. Very, very discontinued. It is quite old, but it is a Gina K Designs stamp set called, I already forgot what it's called. Thankful Florals, I think. I'll have it listed down below in the video description because I have absolutely blanked on what the name of it is. But it is very pretty detailed floral, and I was kind of in the mood to do some coloring. So I'm just stamping it with my obsidian ink. I changed my mind about 10,000 times what I was doing on this card. So this was not the original plan of what I was going to do on this card. And then I was going to color it in marker, so I stamped it on my marker paper. But then when I changed the plan of the card and I had more time to focus on the coloring instead of the other technique I was going to do, I was like, well, maybe I want to do my pencils instead because this is such a detailed image. But then I still kind of rushed through it, so not necessarily my best coloring video, but and I also couldn't really do the details that I wanted to because it wasn't my colored pencil paper. So it was, I've said this before in other videos like this is a bad habit I have of changing my mind at the last minute. But that's not the point. So anyway. And yeah, I'm going to have to stamp this like 10,000 times because it's an old stamp, but it's a new stamp, if you know what I mean. I haven't used it, so it needs a little extra love as far as getting it to stamp nicely. But once I get it going, it does pretty well. And I think I did actually have to do it twice because I've been having, this will lead into kind of what I wanted to chat about. You know those times when you're in your craft room and just nothing is working the way you want it to? That has been me the last couple of weeks, and trying to do these videos and all of that. None of my plans have been coming out. So, that's why I didn't think I was gonna have a video this week because I was like, I was done. But I think I was just maybe having a bad day or something. I don't know. But I know I have a week off at the end of May, and I've been very, very good so far this year about not skipping too many videos. But I've been looking at my sort of in real life schedule of events for May and June, and it's kind of a lot. And I haven't been posting my videos on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, so I can kind of tell. I know the signs now of when I'm starting to kind of hit the social media, YouTube kind of burnout situations. I think we're heading towards that. And so I'm thinking I might need to take a longer break than a week. But I don't really want to take a break either. So it's, that kind of weird situation. But I think the biggest thing I needed, more than I need like a full on, like, don't do videos kind of break, is I just need the pressure of having to have a video out every week off for a little while. So, my plan for the rest of May and June is to simply post videos when I have them. So in this case, I had this one filmed. I managed to get it edited. I found time to do the voiceover. So it will go up this week. But for the rest of May specifically, we're just going to see how it goes. There may be videos. There may not be videos. I just need to get other things handled. I think part of my problem is my craft room is an absolute disaster right now. I have not even kind of cleaned it up from Crop and Create, and like I cleaned it up right before Crop and Create, but I haven't cleaned it up since Crop and Create. I've done like nothing in there, and it is a disaster. And like, I can handle a fairly decent amount of mess and still like keep the creativity flowing. For the most part, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I think we're crossing that line of where it's too messy and there's too much stuff around, and I simply just haven't been able to like find the time to clean it and film a video. So I think I need to switch my focus away from actually creating for a little bit and try to get that sorted. Um, I'm having some storage issues in there as well. um, I know I already want to redo my cardstock storage, and I have a plan for that. Um, but what I used to store my ink, I was gonna get some more because I almost have it filled up, and they aren't being made anymore. So I don't know what to do about that because I really like my ink storage, and I haven't found anywhere that has anything similar. So not really sure how I'm going to solve that problem. It's not an immediate problem. I still have space. I have room for 4 more colors. But then after that, it's like totally out. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll like bring them back or something. But yeah, so anyway, I just need to get that room straightened, and I need the pressure of videos off for a while. To get that figured out. And like I said, I just have a lot of other stuff going on, like more so like the beginning of June, but like May is going to be crazy getting ready for the stuff in June. So I need a little freedom to maybe occasionally not put out a video. And really, do I think you guys care that much whether I post or not? Not really. But it makes me feel better to say it out loud, and just, share what's going on, I guess. And then what was the other thing I was going to say? That, and then there was something else I had to say. I should have wrote a little script for myself, but I did not do that. I know what it was. The other thing I have to do is I only planned through June when I took my break in December. I only planned through the first half of the year as far as content and videos and what I was doing and all that stuff. And obviously some of it's gone out the window because that's just what happens. But I have to also kind of gear up for the second half of the year. And I do that best when I'm not worried about what I'm supposed to be doing now. Originally, way back in December me, which we'll also talk about that in a moment, December me thought for sure that she would get far enough ahead in December on videos to be able to, like, not have to take a second planning break, per se. Like, I would just have the videos done. That did not happen. I have still been filming the video of the week of, instead of having things pre-filmed. So occasionally, for a while, I was doing really good, and I would have 2 or 3 weeks done at a time, but that hasn't been the case lately. So I don't know if I'll take enough days off to fix that problem, but I still have to, like, figure out what we're doing for the rest of the year. So if I take a little bit of a break, that gives me a little more time to really, like, think that through. Move some things around, because like I said, I have some videos that I didn't film, and I have some extra videos that I did film that I haven't posted and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at. I just needed a little break. That did not take me as long to tell you about as I thought it would. So let's see what we're doing in the video. We're coloring. Oh, I've picked a good spot to stop. So the leaves, I should have talked about the leaves a little bit while I was doing them as well. That's a funny story, because I thought the camera wasn't recording for a while, but it actually was. So I thought I didn't have any of the leaves getting colored in. So when I was editing and realized I did, that was a pleasant surprise. um, but I didn't do anything too crazy for the little flowers for the most part. I just colored those in one color. And then I'm going to do the big flower in pink and the little flower in yellow, and then the little flower, the like sunflower, I think that is pink. I don't know what that other flower is. It's not a daisy. But it looks like a daisy. It gives me daisy vibes. But that one's gonna be yellow. I'm not good at flowers, if you don't know me in real life. But flower names are not my thing. They're just all flowers to me. Sometimes, like, I can identify a rose, pretty easily, but they have a very unique shape. Same thing with a tulip. But, most things are just daisies to me. Most other flowers are simply daisies. But, so I don't know what other flower that's supposed to be on the bottom there, but I'm gonna color it yellow. I just kind of randomly picked colors for this. I didn't really have a plan. Just kind of grabbed what was speaking to me. This pink sunflower, like, I don't think sunflowers are usually pink, but I am a big fan of not always using traditional colors on things. When I was in kindergarten this one time, I had a dog coloring page, and I got into, like, a little disagreement with my teacher, kind of. As much of a, like, fight as you can get into with your kindergarten teacher. And I don't even know if it was my teacher or if it was, like, a parent volunteer, honestly. I don't remember it that well. But I was coloring a dog, and I colored it purple because why not? And the adult, whoever it was, came up to me and was like, "Are you sure about that?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm just coloring the dog. Don't mind me." And then she was like, "Dogs aren't purple." And I was like, "Well, they are on Blue's Clues, because do you guys remember magenta?" I mean, technically magenta was pink, I suppose, but I was like, I don't think I had the wherewithal for that as a 5-year-old. And Blue's Clues was, like, my favorite show. So I did not. I don't really remember what happened after that, other than the fact that apparently I wasn't supposed to color my dog purple, and I was like, who cares? It's not a real dog. It's a coloring page dog. If I want it to be purple, it can be purple. So that's kind of how I feel about this flower. Sunflowers aren't usually pink, as far as I know, but I want it to be pink, so it's going to be pink. You can do that with art things. They don't always have to be super realistic, and that's the fun of them. I think now I should be, yep, now I'm coloring in the medium-sized flowers, I guess. I actually really like these flowers, and they were really fun to color in. Normally, the one thing about using this paper that's more meant for my markers than my colored pencils, it's honestly just a piece of scrap paper that I have. I don't even know where it's from. It was just in my scrap bin, and it was the right size. It was the only requirement I had on this day. And so the one thing with doing that is that you can't blend as many layers. You don't, like, your colored pencils won't blend as well. Where with markers, you do layers, but not to the extent that you do with colored pencils, to blend them. So when you have a paper that doesn't have a lot of tooth to it, like, that's the difference. The colored pencil paper's got a little more of a tooth to it, so it's a little bit rougher. Marker paper, you generally want something a little bit smoother. Just the differences in how they work, basically. And the more layers you can get with colored pencils, the better your blending is going to be. So my blending on this isn't great. It can do better, but it still works out. It's still pretty in the end, I think, at least. And you'll see a little bit I'm not doing too much blending on this because, like I said, I wasn't totally vibing with the being creative on this day. It was very much, I wanted to color something, but I also had to get a video done, so I was like, guess we're going to color on the video. And I wasn't necessarily my most creative self. Um, so that, it happens. But that's when I take this shortcut and do the colored pencils on the marker paper, because I can get just as much detail with the colored pencils, and especially with an image that has as tiny of little details as this one does. I'm a lot more comfortable with the colored pencils on that. But I don't have to blend quite as much because the paper is smoother and it just won't let me. So I gotta do a lot of two color blends in here. This was the other part that I kind of messed up in the center here. I didn't really mess it up, that's a lie. I just forgot what I was doing in a weird way. I think in a minute here too, I don't know exactly when the lighting's gonna get weird, because I actually turned on my overhead light and then left it on because I forgot to turn it off. But I don't remember exactly where that happens. But anyway, in the center of my flowers, I had this color out, and in my brain, and this is the embarrassing part, honestly, in my brain, it was more brown than red, because there's one Prismacolor pencil color that is kind of a reddish brown, but it's a little bit more red than brown. It's the one that we've been using. It's the one on the smallest flowers there. And in my head, I was like, oh yeah, no, that's still more, it's like red-brown, but it's more brown than red. And then I used it on the center of the flowers and was like, oh no, it is more red. And then I looked and I was like, wait, you just used this color. You know it's not the color you wanted. But I'd already done what I was going to do by that point. So here's where we're going to fix it. So I grab an actual brown out and I just kind of scribble over it. I don't want to cover up the red entirely, because I think it does add something. So I just kind of do a bunch of squiggly lines over it with the brown, and then it makes it a little bit more of the kind of red-brown color that I was initially wanting to go for. And that's the fun thing with colored pencils, is they actually layer on top of each other fairly well. And so sometimes if you make a mistake on something, you can very easily cover it up. So then I was looking at this, pretty much done with it, and realized that I forgot to do the centers of the little flowers, and I was just going to do those yellow. But then I looked over and saw my iridescent gel pens and was like, you know what'll be fun? Adding a little sparkle and using that for the center of the little flowers. And it's a very subtle, because the flowers are so small, it's a very subtle little sparkle. You don't really even notice it. And in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and add a few frozen rhinestones. I actually really like this card. Like I said, when I was making this one, the creative juices were not flowing, and I was a little bit frustrated with it when I was filming this. But like now that I had a little glue bottle situation, I hadn't used my glue bottle in a while, so it was a little bit clogged, so I had to fix it. I haven't, but I was a little bit like, this wasn't what I wanted. But now that I'm looking at it, almost like, I don't know, I filmed this on Sunday, it's Wednesday today. I liked it a lot more than I thought. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I will see you again soon. And I don't know when soon will be. It may be next week, it may not be. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I will see you again soon, and have a crafty day.